So, I mean, I'd ask all of you guys. I mean, you could start a scene maybe. I mean, where do we go from here? It's obviously this is something that we all believe in. I think there's increasing evidence, and yet, initially the medical profession, and secondly the public, still are not buying into this.
Yeah, sure.
Where to from here?
Well, I think you said in your in the actual documentary that 10 years you think people will be adopting. Maybe it'll be quicker than that.
It'd be nice if it was less. Yeah.
But I think what's interesting and what gives me kind of hope is that seeing this sort of debate and this discussion getting into the mainstream. Clearly, from I'm a bit biased here, but I think British Medical Journal have a lot of credit because they are kind of leading this in terms of medical, in terms
Which is
of
very
respectability.
brave, really, because I'm sure they're copying a fair bit of flack from the
Sure.
profession as a result.
Yeah, and I think some of the difficulty out there is that a lot of the information, a lot of the research, there has been industry influence on that. It doesn't necessarily mean that that research can be discounted, but certainly it's questionable, and I think it's difficult to try and go through all the literature and really try and seek the truth. But certainly, I think the sugar issue is certainly hit the mainstream, and I think one of the things that everybody now can agree on is that we do not need any added sugar in your diet, and obviously that is the start of a refined carbohydrate, anti-refined carbohydrate movement. But I think there's a saying, incremental change is better than ambitious failure, and certainly there's incremental change happening.
And the Swedes seem to have taken the step. In Sweden, as you're probably aware, they've now changed their dietary guidelines and are promoting the low carb, high fat concept. I mean, why can Sweden do it and other countries don't? John, have you got any thoughts on that, or?
I'm not sure. I think they've had a couple of very strong champions. It's a smaller country, in a way. I think it's more penetrable in a way. But overall, forget the Swedish experience. I'm massively optimistic because I think we've reached a sort of tipping point. There's enough research. We have the internet now, which we didn't have 20 years ago, really, so that people, if they want to find different information, they can get it. They weren't really able to do that now. Now there's a lot of very good information out there. There's some rubbish information, but there is good information out there. There's alternative views. I think people are much less deferential now to doctors or researchers or conventional opinion or whatever it is. So I just think people who are doing what they're doing just need to keep doing it, and I think it's become an unstoppable force now.
Sam, Donald, any thoughts on that? I mean, I think all these four gentlemen really are making enormous contributions in spreading the message in their various ways. Sam through his blogs and through everything else, and his podcasts, and he's interviewed just about every person of note, I think.
Yeah, cheers. The biggest thing is trying to create infrastructure to support people for this to really keep going with the momentum, and that's what I'm trying to do with Smash the Fat. So you're eating the fat to smash the fat, because people will need a supportive environment there where all of these thoughts that are going completely against what we've done for the past 40 years and will be sort of so ingrained into their head that it's going to be very difficult to change these behaviours, and they need a support group there somewhat to be able to tell them on a weekly basis and even on like a bi-weekly basis that this is okay. It's okay to be eating eggs and everything like that, and so that's what I hope to provide, along with some smart exercise, which we tell from the start as well. Exercise is not good for fat loss. Okay, it has no effect on fat loss at all, and that's coming from a guy that sells exercise classes. Alright, but it's great for a lot of other stuff, including improved cognition, better immune system, and it can affect weight loss of indirectly, slightly, just through bigger muscle mass and things like that supports the immune system and increases insulin sensitivity. It's not the calories that you're burning necessarily from an increased muscle mass or anything like that. But yeah, creating this infrastructure and creating private enterprises that are going to profit from it, because if we're going to be starting to change consumer habits so they're not buying sort of these sugary treats and things like that, as capitalism works, there has to be a switch in where the money's coming from. And if people aren't buying sugar, and that earns a lot of money, it's got to come from somewhere else, unfortunately.
I'm responsible for writing all this, and I don't believe it anymore.
When my dad got sick, surprised us all. Ex-sportsman, lean, fit, healthy, never drank, boom, heart attack. I wanted to know why that happened. What I found shocked me.
The average consumer is eating less fat in their diet. They are eating more carbohydrate in the diet, and we've got rampant increases in obesity, diabetes, heart disease.
I found out that a lot of what I thought I knew was what you could only describe as lies.
I've always been very cynical about diets.
For 28 days, I'm going to completely disregard the food pyramid. I'm going to gorge on fat.
Fat's good. Fat's good. We've been lied to about cholesterol for long. Some people don't understand how it works. There's magic in fat.
In my view, the prudent diet does not prevent heart disease, it causes it. And certainly it contributes to diabetes and obesity in a major way.
I'm controlling my diabetes without treatment.
Meat, fish, nuts, eggs, those in my view should be the core food.
We're going to prove that fat is good.
I feel a lot better. I've lost a lot of weight during time without even trying.
My favourite is a steak with nice pieces of fat on it.
And I'm quite confident in 10 years' time that the Western society will be embracing this low-carb, high-fat concept.
I'm just going to try and get to the bottom of how I can drop dead healthy.
Just don't fear fat.